This video is for notes in your CPT code book in the musculoskeletal system subsection. If you turn to that area in your CPT book and follow along, you can pause me. Don't forget, and maybe I haven't said this before, to use your tabs right in front of your hard, thick front cover of your CPT book. There's a whole page of little stickies, little tabbies to use. Makes it nice and easy for your CPT book, to locate codes and to turn to the sections. You can see my tabs. Here's the page. And then you can see I can just pull my integumentary tab and I'm right at that section. They even give you a little white line, and I put the tabby kind of at the front. Or right above that white line, and so then they stagger and none of them are covering each other. So when we start out the musculoskeletal system subsection, I don't have a lot of notes in this one right now, but you see a lot of really great pictures here for us at the beginning of the section. You can see, pictures of the muscles in the hands, the feet, the body, the vertebrae. Those are always really good. And again, if you were coding from this section a lot, you would have, wall posters, full and very intricate of all of these. These are just, real quick and nice reference pictures. If we look, I'm trying to look at the first page that I actually have notes on. Look at code 20552 and 20553. If I read 20552, again, you can always pause me if you need to. Injection, single or multiple trigger point, 1 or 2 muscle. And you see the hyphen or the parentheses S, injection or injections, single or multiple trigger point or points, 1 or 2 muscle or muscles, okay? Notice the plurals there, and I even circled with my pencil the little S's so that it would stand out for me if I was coding and ever in a hurry in that area. And then with the very code after it too, a single or multiple trigger point or points, 3 or more muscles. I kind of just circled that little S. I don't want that to go by the wayside. It's kind of an important one, so I made sure that I did that. On the next page, we get into the arthrocentesis, aspiration, and or injections. 20600, 04, 05, 06, 20610, 20611 as well. And if you look at these codes, 20600 is aspiration and or injection, small joint or bursa, so this is the fingers and toes, without ultrasound guidance, and then with is the next code. So I have underlined without ultrasound guidance in 20600, and in 20604 I have with ultrasound guidance. And then underneath there at the very bottom, the last statement on the page there in the code book, I starred this statement a few places. The one that says, in parentheses, the parenthetical note that says, if fluoroscopic, CT, or MRI guidance is performed, see these codes. That's great. If that's performed and we look back at the report and say, yep, they use fluoroscopy, then let's go right to those codes and pick one and code it. Okay, it tells us right where to go. We don't have to go back to the index, so that's really nice. The same with 20605 and 06. Okay, we have without ultrasound guidance and with ultrasound guidance. That's the difference between those codes. And now we're in an intermediate joint or bursa, and so we see the examples of those listed for us. And again, I starred that fluoroscopic CT or MRI guidance being performed and where to go for that. I kind of starred that parenthetical note. Then we get into major joint or bursa. If we are doing this into the shoulder or the knee, those areas, the hip, again, 20610 is without ultrasound guidance. 20611 is with ultrasound guidance. Now remember, this is aspiration and or injection. So if patient number 1 had fluid withdrawn from the knee, and if patient number 2 had fluid withdrawn from the knee and then a steroid put in, and then patient number 3 just had a steroid put into the joint, that's all the same code. Okay, it doesn't matter, aspiration and or injection. So pay attention to make sure you know the differences between those. Like I said, I'm going to scroll through here. There isn't a lot of notes that I have used. Again, feel free to make your own notes as you come up with them, things that'll help you remember. Go to spine and vertebral column. With your 2019, it's on page 130. It's right after code 21936. Back and flank and then excision. The spine and then in parentheses vertebral column. This is a good area to read. Make sure you take time to read this. You know, this is just as important, if not maybe a little more important than the actual textbook. This is a great place to read through on your own because they give us some examples here, which is really fun and nice. At the very beginning of that spine vertebral column, it says, within the spine section, bone grafting procedures are reported separately, okay, and in addition to arthrodesis. For bone grafts and other musculoskeletal sections, see specific code descriptor and then the accompanying guidelines. They give us an example. And then at the top of the next section, I really like where they do these paragraphs. They give us an example and then they talk about it. And then they give us an example and then they talk about it. The first example is given, and then there's a whole paragraph that starts with, within the spine section, this is how you do it. I kind of starred that paragraph. And then there's another example, and then when arthrodesis is performed in addition, this is how you do it. And so I kind of have pointed those paragraphs out under the examples, the explanation type paragraphs, because they're really, really good for us to read. So it might be a good idea for you to do that too. Most of these are pretty straightforward. Let me look here. I don't think I have any other notes. This is a short chapter for notes. Everything's pretty straightforward. Again, if you have any questions, you know, let me know. And if you have any notes you want to put in on your own as you're going through, make sure that you do that as well too. And I'm almost to the end of the section. Casting, there's your endoscopies. Yep, and that's it. So that's it for the musculoskeletal CPT notes.